Good afternoon, Keller Williams, and welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 3.0. Today is 25 in our days of KW Command 3.0, and we have been working lately on opportunities. So we're going to dive back into that opportunities submenu for you and get into the opportunity that we were previously working on. This should definitely not be the stage and phase that this opportunity is in, so forgive me for that. And yet, yesterday we put in 2 offers for this listing. We inputted those offers, and you can see those here. We had Mickey and Minnie and then Goofy's offer. Today we're going to work on comparing those offers. We're going to put in some negotiations so we can track those negotiations and see where we are on those. And then we're going to ultimately accept one and reject the other. So when you have more than one offer, you have 2 options. You can either select all of them, think if we had 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Or you can actually just check the ones that you want to compare by clicking on the boxes to the left of them. Once you have more than 2 selected, you can come over here and click on Compare Offers. And it creates this sort of grid view with all of the kind of key terms: sales price, cash, finance, earnest, option, termination, so on and so forth. So you can see those listed. If you had more than 2, obviously you would have separate columns listed in this white space here to the right. Right now we are having a couple of formatting issues with the download, especially when you have some text inputted here in the pros and cons. I'll show you what that looks like, and obviously it's being worked to correct it. Right now this looks great because there's not a ton of text here. If you type in too much text, just beware that it does not wrap, meaning it does not come to a second line, and it may end up pushing this column here off the page. So my recommendation is that you be succinct with regards to your summary text, your pros, and your cons. You're not attempting to write a novel here. Otherwise, again, like I said, it may end up pushing that goofy column off the page. But that's what it looks like when you download. I could download that, send that over to my clients, and they could review those 2 offers. If there are more than 2, we're going to work on some formatting concerns there as well. So this is the basics of what it looks like. Essentially, once you've compared the offers, you may say, hey, we want to start tracking some negotiations. So we really like the price here on the first one. We like the fact that it's $295,000 cash. However, we want to go in. Our clients can't move by the 31st. They need at least a month. So we want to go in, we want to add a negotiation. We've already sent that over to the buyer's agent, but we want to track it in our command. So we would put Mickey and Minnie. Let's just put negotiation 1. You could put whatever you wanted to title this, right? I could say close date, right? Just so I know what we're negotiating, etc. You could put counter offer 1 if you're actually doing a counter, depending on your market. Really kind of depends, but you can call this whatever you want. Next, it's going to bring up the original terms of the offer. So I'm going to click on the close date, and let's say they actually wanted to close on January 20th. The parties don't change. All of that information remains the same. And then when I come into terms, we don't need to change any of the terms, right? So we're going to go ahead and click on Save. And now you'll see that this offer has been updated. Okay, so this is the new offer that's on the table with January 20th being the close date. This is the most recent version that has been sent over. You can see here are the previous negotiations. So let's say we asked for that change. They changed the close date from 12/31 to January 20th. This is where we stand right now. Let's say we also countered Goofy. We like everything here, but we don't really like that close date. So let's say, or let's just say, hey, you know what? The client got greedy and said, well, look, the only way I'm going to take a financed offer is if I can get over list. So let's see if we can get over list. Do you think they would do 305? So we'll click on those dates. Let's add a negotiation. And this is going to be Goofy negotiation 1. And this is offer price and close date. We don't want to wait till the 31st to close. So we click on, let's spell negotiation right, next. We're going to go in, we're going to change that date also to the 20th. We don't want to wait till the 31st. Nothing changes in the parties, and yet the terms, Marty, do you think we could get them up to 305? You guys know how it goes, right? So We're going to move that finance amount to 275. Do beware that when you change any of these three numbers, if you have your earnest amount linked to a percentage, it does change the earnest amount as well. So you'd want to make sure that you get that adjusted if you're going to allow them to stay at 3,000 or if you're going to ask them for a continued 1%. I could then click on save and look at that. We now have the new offer here, 305. So this is Goofy's offer of 305. And they agreed. They said, sure, we'll come back at 305. We're good there. I'm tracking that. I now have my two offers. Maybe these are the two best offers that I have. All right, so now my client has to decide, do I go with Goofy at 305, 30 in cash and 275? They're closing the same date, or do I stick with the cash offer? And ultimately the client says, you know what, I'd rather take the 305. I think we're good there. So we're going to come over and we're going to reject this offer. Mickey and Minnie are going to get rejected. Sorry, Mickey and Minnie. And then we're going to accept this offer. I want you to watch commissions, this tab here, once we click on accept. You can see it started to spin there for a second and it has now lit up. I'm not 100% sure that this is happening in all market centers, and yet tomorrow I'm going to give you a brief overview, or probably a detailed overview of commissions and how it works, so that when your market center is ready to make that transition, or Labs is ready to make that transition for all market centers, you'll already be familiar. So essentially today we compared the offers, we did a couple of negotiations, and ultimately we rejected one and accepted the other. If for any reason they said, oops, you know what, we changed our mind, we haven't signed anything, we want to go back, I can come in here and click on change response. It's going to say it's going to clear out any dates, right, in your opportunity details. So I'll say yes, right, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to change Mickey and Minnie's response as well. And then we're going to say, you know what, Goofy, cash is king. We're going to reject that offer. We're actually going to accept Mickey and Minnie's offer. Now that I have an accepted offer, the commissions tab lights back up. So again, that may not be happening for everybody, like I said earlier, and yet tomorrow's video, we're going to walk through the commissions tab and what that looks like, so you can either get an idea or a preview, or those of you that are actively using it, which is not a ton of market centers, as I believe right now, you'll be familiar with it as well. So that's today's challenge. Look forward to tomorrow. As always, guys, I will look forward to talking to you in the morning. Thanks so much.